girl, Abby, aka New Age Coach, and I'm here lighting the way for those on their way to the light. You all know that age-old question, does life imitate art or does art imitate life? Well, I think that it really is a combination of both. For this video, I'm gonna be in the camp of life imitates art, and I'm adding a layer of spirituality to that. I say this because recently I realized that my life is currently reflecting themes that I need to pay attention to on my spiritual journey back to me loud and clear. And that's why this video is called The Art of Spirituality. There's an art to how you can approach life through this spiritual journey, and that all centers around perspective. And yesterday, I got some very real perspective. So yesterday, I had an epiphany, or rather a download. If you're not sure what a download is, I will link a quick video below from the Realm of Prosperity's YouTube channel. But in short, a download is really a spiritual metaphor, and it's used to explain the process of receiving an influx of knowledge, an influx of information, more awareness or consciousness update to your existing mental or physical operating system. So much like when your computer is going to update its operating system, and you get kind of also on your iPhone, that it's time to update to the next level, or your new operating system for the iPhone. It's much like that. So basically when it happens, it helps run kind of a new program in a different way, most likely faster, smoother, more efficient, just a better overall experience. In addition to simply just updating, you can also download a completely new program to your computer. And when you do that, it allows you to be able to do new tasks, to access new information, to really just open up you to more possibilities. So again, download is a spiritual metaphor, and it's really just a way of saying that you're getting this information, you're getting this spiritual insight that'll just kind of help nudge you along on your path. So now that you know what a download is, I want to give you some context before I kind of explain what my download actually was. Over the last week or so, I have just been experiencing some real lows and just some real emotional inconsistencies. And I've been feeling like, whoa, I feel like I am on this amazing spiritual journey that I've had super high highs. Like my last video last week was about feeling so lucky and so blessed and tapping into this flow in the universe and just feeling like I was on top of the world. And then now, a week later, I'm sad. I'm kind of feeling anxious and just letting my ego self get the best of me. And it's a place of me feeling like I'm in between two worlds. It's kind of this place of transition that I'm feeling, and it feels like I'm a little bit stuck, like I'm not sure how to take a next step or what I'm supposed to do. And it's also been a weird space for me where it feels like I'm grieving a bit, but I haven't lost anyone. So I was sitting in the parking lot at the mall yesterday, and I really just sat there for a moment and I said, Abby, what is it? What are you feeling? Where is this coming from? And just truly asking myself that question. And out of nowhere, I just started crying in my car in the parking lot. And it wasn't a sad cry. And, I've had plenty of those in my life, so it's easy to make that distinction. But this felt purely healing, just pure comfort and sheer gratitude from my heart. I could hear myself telling myself, your life is changing. You're changing. You've come so far. You need to take time out just to reflect on what you've accomplished in life, in work, in your relationships, romantically, with family, and even your relationship with yourself. And it really felt like I was telling myself this, there's gonna be a new chapter that opens up for you, and it's almost here. You're on this cusp, this transitional thing. But before you can get over this little hump, you really need to say goodbye to that old chapter, to that old programming, that old operating system, that old Abby, before the spiritual awakening. You have to say goodbye to her. So yesterday I realized that I actually was grieving in a sense, and I was grieving having to say goodbye to the old me, and that's what some of those tears actually were. And the universe makes no mistakes, I tell you, because I am off to vacation tomorrow and I am so excited. And it's gonna be a time where I am gonna have that space to just reflect, to write, to to just be with the old me and have a chance to really connect with the old me and thank the old Abby for everything she's done for me so far to get me to where I am on this journey, and be able to give my fullest attention to her so that I can make peace that, yes, I am changing, and I have to start letting go of some of these old things to really start welcoming in the new that I know is just right around the corner from me. I can feel that in my bones. All of that might have sounded like the actual download, but that wasn't. That was still part of the context that I was giving to you, because the actual download, what I took from the download itself, was to change my perspective, to change how I'm looking at things or how I'm interpreting things, to paint a new picture using the same materials. And in that change, the way I'm changing the way I look at things, I will find inspiration, I will find beauty, I will find peace, and I'll find my creativity and empowerment again to take that next step through inspired action to get me closer to my masterpiece, which is the happiest life I could be, the best version of me. So, AKA the optimal Abby operating system. So now I would like to actually put this all together for you in kind of one of my classic Abby stories, specifically around how my career and my spirituality have kind of intersected. And it's going to highlight certain themes or similarities and how my perspective has changed since I've had this download about change. So as I've mentioned in some of my previous videos, I changed my role at work a few months prior to going through my actual spiritual awakening. And this role change shook up my world and had me asking questions about my capabilities. It had me questioning my identity, because so much of my identity was tied to my previous role at work. It had me questioning my confidence. It was pushing me out of my comfort zone. This role change had me learning new skills and new programming, quite literally. And, this has been my first direct experience with project management, this new role that I went into. And I think that in itself is very symbolic, because projects are all about planning yet being flexible for the inevitable change. They're about creating fresh new ideas, new systems, new processes, new programs, and they are about achieving small milestones, and they're for the greater good. They show growth, they show progress. Projects are a journey. It takes time, and it takes that step by step to actually get closer to the end goal. And that is very much like spirituality. So here I am in this new role, and in the beginning, I felt like I was just flailing, like I was out there with no life jacket, kind of just trying to find my way, and everything was going a million miles per hour. Me just trying to get up to speed on this new job itself. There were people in and out of the team continuously and unexpectedly. There were various personalities and challenges that came with that. The direction of the project kept changing every minute, but not the impending deadline. I was questioning, what is the end goal here? And what is the point of this project? What is the point of it all? How am I going to do this? And again, these questions are much like what I was asking after my spiritual awakening around the same time. What is the point of this all? Why am I actually here? How am I going to figure out what to do? So I don't think it's a coincidence that my actual work world was shaken up at the exact same time, or around the same time, give or take, that my spiritual awakening happened, that my spiritual beliefs were shaken up, because from both aspects, I was forced to look at the same themes and ask the same questions. So another example of how I noticed the reflection of my new role and my spiritual journey intersecting has to do with a function that is part of most project teams in the real world. And it's a function that I've been learning more intimately lately over the last month. And that's the role of gathering business requirements. This is the process of when you're working with various stakeholders through the company to collect kind of their ideal end states for a process, a workflow, a new product, etc. And then you help relaying that information to developers and to engineers so that they can architect the solution. And day after day, meeting after meeting, I would continually hear this sentence from our internal developers and engineers as I went through this process of gathering requirements myself. And they would say, Abby, do not design the solution. You don't need to worry about that. That's our job. All we need to know is the what and the why, and we have it from there. And wow, that's just it. It just clicked with the download I received yesterday, it just all makes sense of why, kind of this role shift and my spiritual awakening happened at the same time. They're imitating each other because in this life, in this spiritual journey, all we have to do is just ask for what we want. And we have to feel into that. And we have to believe that it can be manifested and it can be created. The universe will take it from there. The universe doesn't want us to tell it how to do its job. The universe just needs that energy. It just needs your desire put out there. And then in its own perfect, divine way, it will deliver exactly what you want, and probably 1,000-fold better than any design or way you could have thought up in your old mind. So both in work and in spirituality, what I'm learning is, again, trust the overall process. I just have to play my part, but I also have to let the universe and others play their own part as well. The final example of kind of relating work to spirituality and kind of this imitation kind of reflection happening is tying back to this idea of feeling stuck, like I mentioned earlier in the video, or feeling like I'm in this transition phase. And it's regarding momentum, basically. And again, during my transition into this new role, things, like I said, were going at the speed of light. I was learning, I was doing, I was moving, I was going. And it felt like everything was just in the world, the whole world, everything was happening at one time. And there wasn't a moment to think. It was just do, act. And, until we could get to our deadline. In the end, we met that deadline and we were successful. We achieved our milestones. We crossed that finish line. And guess what? I didn't die. We didn't die. And even though it really felt at times like that happened during the process. But my point is, we made it. I made it. I did it. We did it. And that's a lesson in itself. It showed me that, I am capable. I am able. I am creative. I had to be creative to finagle all of the moving pieces that were happening to create kind of success out of chaos. And it's a lesson that I'm learning overall in my spiritual journey too. Just this perception that I have of me, again, my capabilities, my value, my worth, and just remembering to take that time out to reflect, and that time out to show yourself appreciation, to show yourself gratitude, to say thank you to yourself and say, you're a boss. You should be proud of everything you've done. When I'm talking about momentum, over the last few weeks, so we've passed our goal, we've hit our deadline. Now we're kind of in this transitional phase for the actual project, not just my life. Like the actual project has downtime. It's the second where we can breathe and we can reassess and kind of see what happened, take the lessons, extract that, and get ready and kind of process that roller coaster of a ride that got us here. But before my download yesterday, this transitional phase at work for the project felt to me like, oh my God, this isn't normal. Like I should be doing 17 things at once right now. I need to be doing this or that. Like, why do I have this free time? Like this space feels weird. And it made me feel guilty, like I was being unproductive or I wasn't using time wisely or that I was just doing something wrong in kind of this space of nothingness. And after my download that I had yesterday, I changed my perspective on this. And that's what my download was telling me. Think about this differently. It's really a reminder that I, again, need to take that time for myself. I need to take that space for myself to reflect on everything I've accomplished at work and spiritually. It is transition. It was the end of one project, and it's going to be the start of another and many more. It's the end of one chapter for me, the old Abby, but there's a start of a new chapter coming. So it's in this space, it's in this downtime, in this calm and quiet and reflection mode that leads to new creation. So with all that said, I want to get into why I titled this video the way that I did. The art of spirituality, in my opinion, is about understanding that each and every day you have a brand new blank canvas and that you have endless possibilities. It's about tapping into creativity, and specifically creativity regarding perspective. So while there will be challenges in life, there will be roadblocks, there'll be detours, there'll be struggles and transitions, like some of the examples I gave you from my own experiences around work. The same will also go for your spiritual journey. They are a direct reflection of each other. The important thing is to pay attention. Pay attention to what those themes are. Extract the lessons that the universe is trying to teach you. Be inspired to take those tough situations and look at them from fresh new eyes and create a different story around them. Create a better new piece of art, a new and improved one. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Be the artist. Be the creator that you literally were born to be. And in this art, you'll be divinely guided to paint the most perfect picture of the life you're destined to live. And that, my friends, is the art of spirituality.